I still remember the clinking of glasses when he said it. I sold your little cabin for $60,000. His family cheered like it was a victory. His mother raised her wine glass. His brother laughed. And then he looked at me, the smirk just barely hiding behind his teeth, and said, "The money for this dinner? It's from the cabin sale. At least one meal is covered." I didn't say a word. I just watched the bubbles in my champagne rise and burst, the same way my trust in him had, quietly, invisibly, completely. Backstory. The cabin wasn't just property. It was my father's hands in the wood, my mother's laughter in the walls, and my only inheritance, the one thing that was mine before him. When we met, he was charming in the way dangerous things are, the kind that seem harmless until they've already burned you. He talked about partnership, equality, dreams. I believed him, because love makes you stupid, and I was fluent in that kind of stupidity back then. But over time, he started saying things like, "Why do you keep everything separate?" And, "It's not fair if your name's on everything and mine isn't." Love became negotiation. Then, negotiation became ownership. The betrayal. I noticed the papers one morning. On his desk, not mine. The deed. My cabin. His signature right where mine should have been. I confronted him once, softly. He said, "You're overreacting." I didn't ask again. But I checked. Quietly. The sale had gone through. Forged documents, fake authorizations. And the buyer? His friend's cousin. It wasn't just theft, it was a family job. They thought I'd cry, that I'd beg, that I'd break. I smiled instead. The shift? Anger is loud. Revenge is silent. I stayed still long enough for him to relax, long enough for him to forget that I have a law degree and a better poker face than anyone in that room. I started with the paper trail. He forged my signature using a scan from our joint tax forms, a federal document. That made it a felony. The lawyer who processed it had overlooked the notary requirement, which meant his license was on the line too. I sent one email, just one, to the right investigator, attaching the wrong version of the sale contract, the one with visible edits, timestamps, and metadata trails. And then I waited. The execution. When the buyer's lawyer called him, I was there, sitting across the table, calm as ever. The phone lit up, and his face drained. The lawyer was screaming, "Why are the authorities at our office?" He looked at me. Something in his eyes shifted, the first flicker of fear. I stirred my tea. "Maybe you should take it outside," I said softly. He did. He always did what I suggested when it was too late. Later that evening, he came back pale, quiet, shaking. He said, "They're saying I committed fraud." "You didn't." "I didn't." "What?" I asked. "Tell them?" I leaned closer. "I didn't have to. You told them when you signed my name." The climax. They froze the money. The buyer backed out. The investigation spread. His brother, his lawyer friend, his whole family web of smart moves. And when the officers came to question him, they asked to see my statements. I handed them a file, neat, complete, chronological. Every forged document, every timestamp, every lie, preserved like evidence of arrogance. When they left, he looked at me and whispered, "You destroyed me." I smiled, not cruelly, just honestly. "No," I said, "you sold yourself. I just made sure the receipt was public." Resolution. They seized his accounts. The cabin reverted back to me after the sale was voided. It's quieter there now, just the sound of wind against the pine and the echo of a man's voice fading into irrelevance. Sometimes I light the old fireplace and pour a glass of wine, not to celebrate, but to remember. Revenge wasn't sweet. It was clean. And in its silence, I finally heard peace again.